So the next thing we're going to want to add is some feedback to our delay line so we can create like echo effects and things like that. So I'll open up our delay line again, go back into patching, view, and we're in an edit mode here. So what we're going to want to do is we want to create feedback where the signal from the tap out goes out to the plug out object, out to Ableton, but also part of that signal gets sent back into itself, back into the delay line. And so I can show you how I can quickly do this. If I actually go under options and hit segmented patch cords, this is the way you can actually segment patch cords, as opposed to if I don't have this option set, then I can't do that. It's just going to connect things that way. I do not want to do that. But what I want to do show you is like visually what we want to do is we want to send the signal back into itself. Now the reason we don't want to do this is we want to be able to scale this back a little bit. If I just do this, this is going to create an infinite loop because 100% of the signal is getting fed back into itself, and that can be disastrous. So what we want to do is we want to scale back the feedback a little bit. So to do that, what we're going to do is I'll hit click here and hit the N key and then start typing the star sign with tilde. And so this is a multiplier, right? And if we just do this object, just the star sign or the multiplier sign, it just multiplies two numbers. What we want to do is we want to multiply a signal. So I want multiply two signals, this one. So the multiply tilde. And so I'm going to send a signal from tap out into this. And then from here, I'm going to go all the way around back into tap in. And so now what we can do, what we want to do normally is the way this object works is if I grab a float number box, if I connect that to there, if I type in 1, what that means is 1 is the full value of the signal, 100% of the signal. So we don't want that. What we want to have is anything below that, like 0.9, 0.99 even, and then like half of the signal. We'll do 0.05, etc. So again, we don't want to use a float number box for this. What we ideally want is we want another max for live object. So I'll hit N and then live. So we're going to add another live dial. And so this one, what we're going to want to do is we actually want to do a percentage for this object, right? And so 0 would be no feedback, 100% would be all. We don't want to set it to 100, maybe we'll set it to 99.9 or something like that. And obviously 50% would be half and things. So so we'll click on this, hit the inspector. And so we're under the short name, we'll change this to be feedback. Okay, I'm going to keep it as a float. And in terms of the unit style, what we want to do is a percentage. And we're going to go from 0 to 0.99. So, whoops, what happened? Yeah, there we go. So now when I move this, what'll happen is, oh, sorry, this is not going to work. We're going to go 0 and then 99%. Sorry, we don't want to have 100%. And so now, let me, if I lock the patch, I can adjust the feedback from 0 all the way to 99. I can't go to 100, which is actually great. If you want to go almost there, I mean, you can see it looks like it gets to 999. Yeah, that's probably enough. I suppose you could set it to go 99.9, but we'll just leave it at 99. That's pretty good. Now, the thing about this is if I connect this, for instance, to this number box, you can see that I'm getting these. I don't want it to go between 0 and 99. I need to go between point or 0.0 to 0.99. So all I have to do now is, so if I hit the number box here and hit divide, so slash divide two numbers and then space and 100 and a dot to get a float, what this will do is this will take the signal and divide it by 100, or this will take the percentage and divide it, so we get 99 to 0. So there, that's how we do that. Now we don't need this number box, so I'll actually delete this, and I'll just connect this right into this there. So here's our delay time, and then our feedback is going into this. We're dividing it by 100 point, so this is a float that's then going into this, the right input of the signal multiplier. The signal is coming from tap out. Some of the signal is going out to plug out, and then the signal is also being sent to the signal multiplier and then being cut by some percentage and then being fed back into itself. Last thing I need to do is click on this and go here to included in presentation. And now I can close up this window. And the last thing I'll do is go into presentation mode and bring this feedback up next to the delay time. And there we go. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing. Sometimes what we can do is we just want to make sure that our signal coming out of tap out and then with all this feedback that there's a way to sort of protect our sort of the audio so it doesn't peak. And so let me show you an object for that. So what I'm going to do is, rather than going from tap out directly to plug out, so what we want to do is we want to add a limiter here so our signal doesn't go over a certain amount. It just sort of protects our ears, but also the delays. So there's a sort of built-in limiter object called peak lim, and actually, so if I hit N and now start writing, so the object name is actually OMX peak lim. So there it is. And so I have a left input and a right input. So because we're just doing mono, I'll just do both here. And then same here, we've got a left channel and a right channel output. So we'll just plug this into here. All right, great. Now again, this is still mono. If I wanted to do stereo, what I would want to do is duplicate all of this and have one of these going just into the left and have a duplicate of all this going into the right. And I would change, have this be delay time right, feedback right, and then left and all that kind of stuff. Let's just keep it mono for now to keep it simple. So this omx.peaklim tilde object is just a little bit of a limiter. And again, it's just going to prevent things from kind of going crazy for us. So I'm ready to save this now, so I can lock the patch, hit save. Okay, so now I'm back in Ableton Live, and you can see I've got my delay time and my feedback. And so now when I create this, so now we have a little bit of an echo effect happening. And I can decrease the amount of feedback. Maybe to decrease the decay time. So now we've added feedback. So excellent. The last thing we might want to do then is have control over the wet-dry mix. And so that'll be part 3 of this tutorial.